We are on a mission. Alright, well here we are. Brooke and I are on a road trip today. Reckon where we gonna go today?
I don't know. We've been driving about an hour and a half so far, so you just have to wait and see where we end up.
We are on a mission.
Destination.
Alright, you can kind of see where we are now. We are at the emu farm and we are about to look at the parents of the babies. We will talk about it in a few minutes about why we are here looking at baby emus and what the plan may or may not be.
One of them just took off running. I had a giggle.
Oh my gosh, I've got to show y'all this.
All right, let's go.
Hey babies!
Oh, here comes some more. Look down the hill. Oh, that's a blonde.
That one's the blonde.
That one's a blonde. These two are white.
Okay.
This one's a blonde, isn't it?
Okay, because they've got a little bit of the dark on their back. Oh, how sweet! Hey babies!
And you know, the males are usually smaller than the females, but I can't tell with these. This one may be a female.
If it would drum, I could tell.
Oh yeah.
I think these are probably all males.
Well, that gate's open, so they're not separated.
And then there's the standard.
Hey, baby.
No, that's a blonde.
Oh, is that a blonde?
Yeah, that's a blonde.
Okay. And also, look at that over there. Oh, this one here just said something. Look at the
How
baby.
many adults do you have?
I have, well, technically these are not adults yet.
Okay,
These are
These are-
about, it's just a 5-foot no climb. The red brand, you know how it has the red right here.
Well,
It's
he's
worked
going to
for
stop
us.
playing now that
I
I'm
can go in there and
videoing.
make 'em play.
Oh,
They just love hanging out.
yeah, make him play for the video.
Gonna make me look like a little
Look.
kid here. Not you.
I smell a buck.
Look, Catherine.
Mm.
He's going. He's so excited.
He's like, I'm getting excited over here.
They usually do so much more than that. Come on, pretty girl.
It's cold.
Come on. You want to play with them? Come on. Come on. Yeah. Come on. He loves chomping.
Oh yeah, I heard him chomp that time.
Oh, he's so excited. Yeah. You gonna play? Are you gonna play?
He said, I'm gonna pretend.
Yeah, he's like, well, that's about all I got in me. Sell it to me.
Do you find that the white ones are similar in size to the other colors? Okay, so no.
I'll show you out here. When
Oh,
I
how
sweet.
sweet. Hey.
No indication to you.
Everything, and then
Light
and blue
eyes.
eyes. Yeah. They. I don't know.
They seem
think
very
that-
similar to like the albino colors in parrots.
Mhm.
Like they have the light eyes and
Yeah.
the light beaks and feet.
Oh, you want to go home? We are on the interstate and we are headed home after looking at the emu chicks at our destination. So Brooke and I got to talking about the emu eggs hatching and not hatching, and you know that it's been a long road. Haven't given up yet, but it has been a long road. So we've done some research, and we've come to determine some things about emus.
Yeah, specifically Nugget and Goldie per se. That is not the case in the rest of the bird world, so to speak. So, as most of you know, Nugget and Goldie are siblings, and the way that we got Goldie was because her mate, who was Pepita, was killed. So Goldie had no place to go where there was another emu, and Mr. Stan and Miss Kathy, Goldie's owners, reached out to me because they knew we had Nugget and asked if Goldie could come and live with us. So we had to do some quick rearranging, quick thinking, and it was a no-brainer to us that in order for Goldie to survive, she had to be with another emu because she had been with another emu all her life, and she was mourning. So Goldie came to live at our farm without thinking about the perchance that they were siblings. I mean, yes, I knew they were siblings, and I also knew that a male and female will breed, but with birds that we have always had in the past, interbreeding has not been an issue. Mammals is where you have to worry about interbreeding, so to speak. Birds, not so much in our experience. And we didn't really think too much about it, did we, Catherine, with it being brother and sister and incubating the eggs initially?
Not at all until I saw some that were not developed properly in the egg.
So Catherine's been doing this for, a good little while now. And of course, when one proves to her it hasn't hatched, she's opened it up and she has seen some things that are kind of disturbing to her.
Yeah.
She knew something wasn't happening right, but we didn't know if it was in the process of the egg development. But we have talked to some breeders and some people that are more experienced with emus than us two to find out that interbreeding in emus is not a good thing to do.
Right. And there may be an egg that ends up hatching, but there are 4 or 5 eggs right now in the hatcher that I'm waiting to see after humidity adjustment and temperature adjustment if they will hatch and not be any deformities.
And here's the thing too, is we don't know that this is first generation interbreeding, so to speak. We don't know if Goldie and Nugget's parents may have been siblings. We don't know that information. So, if that is the case, which we're just going to go out on a limb and say it may be, because most of the time, I would say when people get more than one emu, they're getting them at the same time, unless they have thought out process and decided to do it later. So if this is not the first generation, then it's definitely a reason behind the eggs not being right.
So we took this little trip to look at some emu chicks at a farm where this is a professional that raises emus, and she won't sell a pair of siblings that's a male and a female for risk of someone breeding them.
She won't do it. She doesn't care how much money she makes off of it. It's not going to happen because of the chance that there could be some deformities or some problems.
So we've made the decision that after I see these next 4 or 5 eggs, what's going to happen is I'm going to stop with the Goldie and Nugget eggs, just for fear of what could happen if one does hatch. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to stop trying to hatch an emu egg. It's absolutely the opposite. But I am looking at buying a chick to start with from the emu farm. And then after I can get this one raised up, good, and know that I know what I'm doing, then I'll look at something else later.
That's right. And had we known this information early on, of course the process would have never taken place. But reading and research about emus can be very limited.
Oh, there's not a lot of information out there. I'm just going to tell you. And all the information that I've gotten so far, I've found out that a lot of it, and I mean a lot of it, is very wrong information.
There's a lot of controversial information too.
Yes.
So this has been an experience for you.
Oh, yes, absolutely. It has. A lot of learning.
When you talk to the lady here at the farm who incubates her eggs, she informed you of a lot of different ways that you haven't even read about.
Absolutely. I told her that information is just not out there. And, you know, and she told me that she's went through a lot of tears also in the past when she first started, and she learned a lot after she got started with it on raising and hatching emu eggs.
By hands-on.
Hands-on. And, you know, and like I said, the research is long and tedious.
And that's one reason I couldn't do it.
Very limited information.
It is. I mean, you're just grasping at straws trying to pick out what information's correct and what do you take with a grain of salt. I mean, it's...
And we're leaving today, going back home with a lot of information that we did not have. And is it good information that made us feel better? Some of it. Is the information that we have now kind of disheartening about where we've been and where we've come from? Absolutely. But you've got to take that and you've got to learn from what you've already done, that there was no way those chicks could have hatched.
Right.
Based on what I know right now. So I think it's been a very productive trip. And I just appreciate Brooke so much for saying, hey, let's take a road trip today.
Well, we didn't come back with an emu because this visit was not intended on buying an emu and bringing it home. This trip was for learning. And we are still in the thought process of where this is going to take us, meaning me and you, and what will happen in the end. But it definitely wasn't a wasted trip, even though we didn't come home with something. It's a where do we go from here?
I know that it's a lot to think about right now, but I know that I will have an emu. But there's a lot to think about future. I'm going to have an emu, and I fell in love today. Did I fall in love today?
You did.
Not that I was already not in love with Nugget, but I fell in love.
I had baby fever all back over again, and I'm not talking about human babies either. I'm talking about emu babies. They are precious, but even as the breeder said, people have got to do their homework before they rehome one of these animals. You know, it's obviously good fencing's required. So she does have a list of people that are waiting on purchasing emus. And she said what happens usually is those people are on a splurge and they decide they want an emu. But then after doing some research, they decide they're not ready for an emu.
Yeah.
But you, on the other hand...
Oh, I'm ready.
You're ready. You even have emu starter.
I have food. I have the facilities for them already.
So, you know, there's no stopping you now.
Yeah, there's no stopping. After playing with those emus today, and I did not get a lot of video today of the emus, just a little bit, but I was actually in the pen with some juveniles and some grown emus, and as well as playing with the chicks, and it was just amazing. Y'all, it was amazing.
While you didn't film a lot of you and her conversation, a lot of your time was spent learning and listening and taking in what you've done wrong, what you've done right, and where her mistakes have been made.
That's right. Yeah.
So
I was at the teacher's feet,
yes.
Pretty much.
And she told us. She said, I learn something new every day. So even though she's that much more experienced than we are, she's still learning too. So
she was so knowledgeable about emus.
She was, and to fault somebody for not knowing that you don't breed siblings is don't go there, people, because it's not out there. It's the information is not out there. With other birds, it's not a concern, and you all know that you don't do that with mammals. So
Actually, the wrong information is out there, because I did read where it was okay.
and that that's what we're saying is there's right and there's wrong, and you don't know which is which.
However, the information out there on emu breeding and hatching and incubating is so limited. And like I said, the best video that I could come upon was the old university video that was on a VHS tape that was made into a YouTube video that the guy's not even monetized on. And because he simply wanted the information out there. That was probably the best video that I have seen. But there's a lot of videos out there even from other YouTubers that is wrong information.
That's right.
And it's just so limited, and you just don't know what you can trust and what you can't. But I can tell you this: I've seen this lady's emus
in person.
I've had my hands on them. I've played with them. She's very particular about them, and she's particular about her breeding stock. And she has a lot of good information, and I was just so honored to be able to come today. And I appreciate Brooke so much for saying, hey, let's go take a road trip today, because had I not done this, I would still not know.
Well, you didn't know, but now you do, and we all learn from our mistakes. And while you didn't have a successful hatch, that doesn't mean the future is over for you, because I told you to hang on to that incubator. Hang on to that incubator. If it's 5 years from now, you're not going to give up. You're going to keep on keeping on.
Oh, I'm going to have a successful hatch.
You're going to have a successful hatch.
It just may not be a golden nugget.
It may not be a golden nugget, but it is what it is. And I'm just happy to soak in knowledge and learn from others.
Oh, absolutely. And thank you again, Brooke.
You're welcome.
All right, guys, I just got back. It's late evening, and I've got to get out and throw some more feed to the bull calves and get everybody locked up for the night. But thank you for going along with me to this place, and it was in North Alabama, and it was a very good trip. But it gave me a lot of good information and a lot of things to think about. Now, I know that you're wondering, what if some of the emu eggs that are in the hatcher right now does decide to hatch? What will I do with those? Well, exactly what I was going to do with them. Long story short, I know that Nugget and Goldie are possibly related, and that there could be some complications if a chick does hatch. I will just monitor that chick very carefully and look for any issues that could arise. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to go in there and cull all those eggs and do away with them while there's life inside of them. That's not what that means. That means that I'm going to be diligent about making sure that the chicks are safe and healthy if some were to hatch. I know that I will be getting an emu chick. I'm just not sure when. I did get a lot of good information, and if I choose to breed emus later and hatch eggs, at least I will have some knowledge of what I'm doing. Because I'm telling you that the lady that I spent a lot of time with her, y'all, and she was very knowledgeable. She told me the ins and outs, when to expect to hatch, if they're going to hatch, things about emus being related, basically. And things about what to look for even in healthy, unrelated chicks. And so it was a very productive trip. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that Brooke said, hey, let's go on this road trip. Let's go learn some stuff. Let's look at some chicks and we can think about what our next steps are going to be in the emu world. And so I'm also grateful that Brooke treated me to Jenny's ice cream. Now, if y'all have never had a Jenny's ice cream, y'all, she told me that this was going to be something special. So I don't know what I was expecting when we stopped there at all, but oh my word, y'all, that was probably the best ice cream that I have ever put in my mouth. And you know, I'm a ice cream connoisseur. A self-proclaimed ice cream connoisseur. When she said, "You may not want ice cream," I replied, "Have you fell and bumped your head?" I love ice cream, y'all. Oh, it's one of my favorite things in this world is a good cone or bowl of ice cream. So I did have the best ice cream that I've ever put in my mouth. And I think it was gooey butter cake ice cream in a hot waffle cone. Yeah, it's exactly like it sounds. But anyway, we are back home now, and I need to get busy and get everybody locked up for the night. But I'm just so appreciative to Brooke for encouraging me. Let's go on this trip. If nothing else, we need to learn some things. And boy, did I learn some things. So I'm still keeping my fingers crossed, but now I'm keeping them crossed that if I have a hatch successful, that I'll have a healthy hatch successfully. So we will monitor things all the way around, but now I know the exact humidity, I know the exact temperature, I know the exact number of days, I know the exact time I'm supposed to put them in the hatcher. I know a lot more today than I did yesterday, even after the scientific video I had watched. There's still some misinformation there, and I saw some good healthy chicks to prove that. Y'all just kind of keep your fingers crossed and be thinking about us here on the farm, and in the meantime, y'all farm on.